Please help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Seoul Harmony Concert Hall buzzed with excitement as 38-year-old Kim Jun-seo finished tidying the stage, his navy janitor uniform blending into the shadows while the chandeliers sparkled above. The hall was magnificent, gleaming wooden floors, red velvet seats, and a grand piano dominating the center stage. To the elegantly dressed guests arriving for the evening's gala, Jun-seo was almost invisible, just another part of the scenery. At home, his life was different. As a widowed father, he raised his 6-year-old daughter Kim Hae-in on his modest salary, sacrificing his own dreams of becoming a concert pianist to ensure she never wanted for anything. Tonight, like every night, his work as a janitor allowed him to leave on time to tuck Hae-in into bed. Her laughter and innocent chatter, the reward for years of quiet struggle. As he wiped down the piano, Jun-seo felt a familiar ache stir within him. The polished black surface reflected the golden stage lights, and for a moment, he allowed himself to remember the hours of practice he had poured into the instrument years ago, hours now buried under the weight of responsibility. The gala's host, Lee Min-ho, a 52-year-old CEO and chairman of the Seoul Arts Foundation, strode confidently across the hall. Impeccably dressed in a tailored black tuxedo, he carried the air of someone accustomed to commanding attention. He paused near the piano, glancing at Jun-seo. "Everything ready for tonight's performance?" Lee asked, voice polite but tinged with curiosity. Jun-seo straightened, giving a respectful bow. "Yes, sir. Everything is in order." As more guests arrived, the chatter of Seoul's elite filled the hall. Celebrities, business tycoons, and philanthropists, each unaware that the man quietly preparing the stage was once a promising pianist with dreams as grand as theirs. Jun-seo took a deep breath, trying to focus on his work, yet the piano seemed to call to him. He could feel the suppressed longing, the melody of a life he had set aside, mingling with the scent of polished wood and wax. Tonight, he would play only his part as a janitor, but in the back of his mind, the music never truly left him. The hall was ready, the guests arriving, the tension barely noticeable yet quietly building, setting the stage for a night that would change everything, not just for Jun-seo, but for everyone who thought they knew him. The Seoul Harmony Gala had begun, and the hall shimmered with elegance. Guests in sleek gowns and tailored suits filled the red velvet seats, their chatter a soft hum beneath the crystal chandeliers. The city's elite, business magnates, celebrated artists and philanthropists mingled, each accustomed to luxury and prestige. Jun-seo moved quietly among them, ensuring every surface gleamed, every detail perfect. Yet his eyes kept drifting to the grand piano at the center of the stage, its polished ebony surface reflecting the golden lights. A longing stirred deep within him, a memory of a life paused, dreams deferred for his daughter Hae-in. Then came Lee Min-ho, the CEO and chairman of the foundation, moving with effortless authority. He surveyed the hall with a practiced eye, then glanced at Jun-seo. There was a spark of curiosity in his gaze, as if he sensed something beneath the janitor's calm exterior. "Mr. Kim," Lee said, his voice carrying across the hall, "do you ever play the piano?" Jun-seo's stomach tightened. "A little, sir. Nothing professional," he admitted softly, bowing his head. Lee's lips curved into a subtle, mischievous smile. "Curious. Shall we see what our talented staff can do?" he announced to the crowd. A ripple of amused whispers ran through the audience. Phones discreetly came out, ready to capture what many expected to be a light-hearted novelty act. Jun-seo's heart raced. His private passion was now on the verge of becoming public entertainment, and the thought of performing before Seoul's most influential figures made his hands tremble. Pride warred with fear. He had dedicated years to providing for Hae-in, putting aside his own aspirations. Now those sacrifices could either shine or make him the subject of ridicule. As the audience waited, unaware of the storm of emotions within the humble janitor, the stage was set for a moment that would defy expectations. A quiet man poised to reveal the depth of his hidden talent, Jun Seo approached the piano cautiously, his cleaning cloth still clutched in one hand. The audience watched with a mixture of curiosity and barely concealed amusement, expecting a simple novelty performance from the janitor. Lee Min-ho gestured grandly toward the instrument. "Surprise us," he said, his tone teasing but with an undercurrent of genuine intrigue. A nervous flutter ran through Jun Seo's chest as he settled onto the bench. The polished keys gleamed under the lights, and for a brief moment the hall seemed to hold its breath. Whispers rippled through the crowd, some skeptical, some intrigued, but none anticipated the depth of what was about to unfold. He took a slow, steadying breath, feeling the weight of every expectation pressing down on him. This was more than a performance. It was a revelation, a chance to reclaim a piece of the life he had set aside for Ha-in. Yet fear gnawed at him, the fear of humiliation, of being laughed at in front of the city's elite, as his fingers hovered above the keys. Memories of long nights spent practicing, the soothing melodies that once defined his life, and the lullabies he had shared with Ha-in surged forward. The applause of imagined crowds, the thrill of mastery, and the quiet pride of a father all collided within him. The hall waited in tense silence. Every eye was on him, every heart unknowingly bracing for a spectacle. But Jun Seo wasn't here to entertain. He was here to reveal the truth of who he was, a man of quiet strength, a devoted father, and a musician whose soul had never stopped singing. Jun Seo pressed the first notes, and the hall transformed instantly. The delicate strains of a classical Korean-inspired piece floated through the air, clear and haunting, carrying with them the weight of years of sacrifice and unspoken dreams. The audience, initially expecting a novelty, fell silent, captivated by the unexpected mastery of the janitor at the piano. His fingers moved with fluid grace, each note deliberate, each pause filled with emotion. Memories of long, lonely practice sessions, of lullabies sung to Ha-in, and of a life paused for responsibility poured through the music. The sound was not just skill, it was a story, a life lived quietly, now revealed in melodies that spoke louder than words ever could. Eyes widened around the room. The subtle smirks and amused whispers disappeared, replaced by awe and admiration. Guests who had arrived expecting light entertainment were now witnessing a rare moment of authenticity and talent. A reminder that appearances could never capture the depth of a person's spirit. Even Lee Min-ho, the composed CEO, was visibly moved. His usual air of confident authority softened as he watched Jun Seo's hands glide over the keys, each note revealing the hidden brilliance beneath the janitor's uniform. The music touched hearts, bridging social divides and stirring emotions long kept in check by formality and prestige. As the final notes lingered, the silence that followed was profound, almost sacred. The audience absorbed the moment, realizing they had witnessed something extraordinary, not just a performance, but a testament to resilience, love, and the courage to embrace one's true self. After the final note faded, Jun Seo sat quietly, letting the hall's silence wash over him. Then, with a gentle bow, he spoke softly, sharing the story behind the music. He told the audience how he had once dreamed of a life as a professional pianist, how he lost his wife in a tragic accident, and how he had given up his career to raise his daughter, Ha-in, ensuring she never lacked for love or security. The crowd listened, rapt and moved. Gasps of empathy and nods of understanding rippled through the guests. Many wiped away tears, struck by the weight of sacrifice, the courage it took to put another's needs above one's own dreams. For the first time, they saw the man behind the uniform, not a janitor but a father, a musician, and a human being of extraordinary depth. Lee Min-ho stepped forward, his expression softened, respect shining through his usually composed demeanor. "Mr. Kim," he said quietly, "we had no idea. Your dedication, your talent, it's remarkable." Jun Seo's eyes met Lee's, filled with a mixture of humility and pride. He spoke of the long years of balancing work and parenthood, of the music that had remained a secret but never left his heart. The audience absorbed every word, feeling the humanity behind the performance and the profound bond between father and daughter. In that moment, the distance between social classes melted away. Applause began slowly, tentative at first, then swelling into heartfelt, thunderous appreciation. The once amused spectators were now witnesses to a story of resilience, love, and the courage to embrace one's true self, leaving hearts touched and eyes glistening with emotion. Lee Min-ho stepped closer to the piano, his voice steady but full of emotion. Kim Jun-seo, your talent deserves to be shared with the world. We want to support you, not only as a musician, but as a devoted father. Jun-seo felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes. The CEO explained that the Seoul Arts Foundation would offer him a chance to return to performing professionally, while ensuring Hae-in's well-being remained the top priority. A scholarship fund would support him, allowing him to pursue his dreams without sacrificing his responsibilities as a parent. The audience erupted into applause, this time filled with genuine admiration and respect. Guests who had come expecting a light-hearted novelty were now celebrating the triumph of dedication, talent, and love. Jun-seo's heart swelled, not just for himself, but for Hae-in, who had been the quiet inspiration behind every choice he had made. He looked toward the audience, a mixture of gratitude and humility on his face. "Everything I've done has been for my daughter," he said softly, voice steady but emotional. "To be seen and valued for who I am, it's more than I could have imagined." Lee Min-ho nodded, eyes glistening. "Your story reminds us all that true worth isn't measured by titles or appearances, but by love, integrity, and courage." The crowd rose to their feet, some wiping away tears, others clapping with unrestrained admiration. Jun-seo knew that this night had changed everything, not just for him, but for everyone who had witnessed the power of perseverance, authenticity, and the unbreakable bond between parent and child. Months later, Jun-seo stood on the stage of Seoul Harmony Concert Hall once more, this time in a sleek black suit, the janitor uniform long replaced by concert attire. Hae-in sat proudly in the front row, her eyes wide with admiration as her father's fingers danced across the keys. The music filled the hall, not just with notes, but with the story of sacrifice, love, and dreams realized. Audiences now came to hear him play, inspired by the journey from humble janitor to celebrated musician. Jun-seo never forgot the lessons of that night, the quiet strength required to care for Hae-in, the courage to share his hidden talent, and the reminder that true worth lies not in status, but in authenticity and love. Even Lee Min-ho kept a photograph from that first evening showing Jun-seo at the piano in his Navy uniform, a reminder that extraordinary people often remain hidden in plain sight until someone recognizes their gifts. The applause echoed through the hall as Hae-in clapped the loudest, beaming. "Daddy, you're the best piano player in the whole world," she whispered after the performance, her words carrying more pride and love than any award or accolade ever could. The story spread beyond the concert hall, inspiring countless others to pursue their passions, cherish family, and never underestimate the quiet strength and hidden talents of those around them. Which hidden talent in your life deserves to shine? Comment below and share this story to inspire someone today. Even after his rise to recognition, Hae-in never stopped marveling at her father. She would tell friends and neighbors, with a proud smile lighting her face, that Kim Jun-seo was the best piano player in all of Seoul. Not because he played in grand concert halls, but because he had sacrificed everything for her, and still found a way to follow his dreams without ever letting her down. The story became a quiet legend among their community, a reminder that extraordinary talent often lies hidden beneath everyday appearances. Parents, children, and neighbors alike were inspired to notice the hidden strengths around them, to value love, dedication, and courage over status or wealth. Junseo would watch Hye-in grow, always remembering that night, the music, the tears, the respect earned, and the lesson that true greatness is measured not by applause alone, but by the lives we touch and the love we share. Have you ever witnessed someone's hidden talent change everything? Comment their story below and inspire others.